Ladies and gentlemen, we will continue with our final paper for this seminar, and stay with us because we're going to have another handsome gentleman, right? So landscape architect Fadil, you're also handsome, but this one is the latest version of handsome because she's younger than you. So, well, all right. So landscape architect Phua Chin Eng, how are you?
I'm fine here, Dr. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. So allow me to read a little bit about your biodata so that all the participants can get to know you close. He's a landscape architect. He's not a Hong Kong actor. She's not a Hong Kong actor. Yeah. So let me read out his bio for you. So Mr. Phua Chin Eng, the founder, principal, and driving force behind Landart, holds a bachelor's degree in landscape architecture 1996 and a diploma in urban and regional planning 1992 from University Technology Malaysia. He has been listed as a corporate member of the Institute of Landscape Architects Malaysia ILAM since the year 2000. Before settling down in Penang to embark on the development journey of establishing Landart in 1998, Phua spent the earlier stages of his career practicing landscape architecture in Singapore. With decades of experience practicing in the industry, Phua taps into his expertise and knowledge to guide and lead the team while supplying indispensable conceptual ideas during both the planning and designing stage. Phua was a guest speaker in various webinars and workshops where he shared his industry experience. He was also one of the judges for the Malaysian Landscape Architecture Awards MLAA competitions in consecutive years of 1993, 1994, and 1995. He was also awarded the title of Best Designer for Landscape Architecture from UTM for 3 consecutive years from 1993 to 1995. In 1995, he was also awarded the first prize in the International Students Design Competition for the Ecotourism Project in New Zealand, a grand prize in the logo competition conducted by ILAM. Ladies and gentlemen, ILAM logo that we're using now was basically the fruits of Mr. Phua Chin Eng. So he designed this logo, yeah? All right, and citation awards in the International Federation of Landscape Architects, IFLA, competition in Bangkok, Thailand. So the Landart team led by Phua has won more recent awards, which include the Award of Excellence in Analysis and Master Planning at the International Federation of Landscape Architects IFLA APME Awards, the Excellent Award in Landscape Design under the Professional category, the Excellence Award in Landscape Master Plan at the Malaysian Landscape Architecture Awards MLAA competitions. So, if landscape architects Juwita just now is actually a beautiful lady with brain, so I would say now we have a handsome gentleman also with brain. So ladies and gentlemen, over to you, the handsome guy.
Malam tu, I budak-budak.
Phua Chin Eng, over to you.
Ibu Han ni mengangkatkan.
Thanks, Dr. Tia. It's my honor to be here to share about the topic of biophilic design for sustainable living. Are we able to start with the slide then? Yeah, okay, thank you. All right, next one. Okay, in the rapid development in the city today, and most people either they will be in the office or in the public areas, like a station, bus stop, in a mall, except MCO periods. I think we're encouraged to stay at home. Yeah, next. And due to continuous urbanization, the building footprints get reduced and become tall buildings. And most of us, and I would spend most of the time stay at home, you know, and either working in a very compact structure. Okay, next one. And then due to this, it actually lead us to a stress related to illness, and also it predicted to be a primary cause of the sickness. Yeah, we start getting depression and stay too long in a house, or either we have too confined space in the urban areas. And downside of this is actually overall loss of the man connection to nature and the outdoor. So it's important to create a connection to man and nature by executing biophilic design in the building for the future of human being. All right, next. Okay, so the today's topic actually we want to emphasize the important biophilic design is an approach to architecture that seek connect building occupants more closely to nature. So when we want to design biophilic, there are certain elements that we need to emphasize on it. Next slide. Yeah, basically we have a 6 major design element of the biophilics, like environmental features that we need to have a safe and how to make it more sustainable. And then the textures, patterns, and the color of the materials are either soft and hardscape as well, able to blend with the nature. And of course, when the plants are matured, the thermal comfort spectrum can be reduced. And of course, this is the part of the light and the space that we can play around into the architecture space and also the outdoor areas. And indirectly, all this is actually improving air quality and ventilation. So it also affected the psychology effect and also psychological effect as well too. So today, actually, I would like to share with you based on my experience on a project of what we're doing. Okay, next slide. Okay, these two projects actually I'd like to bring in. The first one is Alila. Can you press? Just continue. Yeah, Alila at Tanjung Tokong Penang. And then the second project is Summit Park at Southeast City Spa. Okay, we start with Alila first. Okay, Alila 2, actually we started in 2013. Is the idea of Step to Paradise. Okay, next slide. So this is the day one feelings that we enter into this site. You know, they're full of the bushes and like the entry into step to a second forest areas. When we enter to the site, we listen to the bird sound, the insects, you know. So we feel that it's very sad to let go all this green space and replace with the gray areas. So what we do is actually we talk to them, you know, we listen to them when we tell them that probably we temporarily need to migrate all these habitats and the fauna areas to move to the other sites for temporary. Once we complete, we hope that we can bring them back again. So next. So this is the ideas that this diagram actually drawn by my art director, Novanti Sha'arifin, and she also a lead designer on this project. I would like to share with you when we brainstorm on these ideas, what we have in line with is actually we want to create like enduring heavens surrounded by the nature, you know. So this is part of the ideas we want to bring that closer to the mountains areas for the building site and large landscape, and also a winding river kind of approach that going down from roads, and also a terracing garden view because due to the change of level on the site as well too. And beside that, actually want to create that kind of beach feel that is also borrow a landscape view from the beach that very, very far from the site, but still able to see it. And also waterfall ideas, and also some observation tower to create more like a curiosity corners for the people to enjoy nature. So this is part of interpretations of the paradise approach into these developments. Next. So when you look at the slide here, is on the right-hand side, 2 towers and the podium level at the 8th story is actually Alila 2. The Alila Home and Alila Horizon, was completed more than 10 years ago. Yeah, I think 2008 when we completed that project. Yeah, on the right-hand side, Alila 2 is a recent project. It's located at the highest point of Tanjung Bunga areas. Next. Okay, so you can see this is a location of Tanjung Bunga areas that is just very close to what I call the commercial areas of Lembah Permai, and also close to this University Tunku Abdul Rahman areas. Next. Okay, when you look at the site, actually our site contains about 9.8 acres total in land uses. 6.4 acres is actually a development below 76-meter levels, yeah, with 30% designated as a green areas, and 3.4 acres land areas above 76-meter levels we preserve as part of natural hills. Next slide. Okay, so we rotate the site. If you are trying to bring it in from the main entrance to up to the podium level. So let me start it from, I can't point it, right? Okay. Let me start it from the guardhouse area, which is at the bottom here. Okay, you can see the spiral roads going up to the top of the drop-off lobby areas, and then the swimming pool is located at the 8th floor of the car park areas. Okay, next. So when you look at the slide here, actually on the right-hand side, we illustrate in 2013. Okay, but when we complete it in 2018, we try to complete as close as possible because we have using a biophilic approach into these developments. We let the nature take over the architecture and also the engineering part of the structures. Okay, next slide. Okay, so when you look at it just now, we have visions, the interpretations of the paradise approach. We have started with the large landscape at the front here. We are terracing up from the bottom up to the lobby areas that want access by using a staircase, okay, and also some walkway and walk path and ramp. And the other side is actually you can go through by the car or motorbike, you know, and also they provide the buggy from the lobby areas. And then you can wind it up from the bottom up to these areas, take about 300 meters to the top of the lobby. Okay, so what we have in mind is that actually we also insert in the observation tower at the right corners, okay, at the certain areas that are able to enjoy this particular view toward the city and also the forest. Okay, next one. Okay, so I try to share with you when day one, when we do it up, these structures, actually engineering structure is rendering, you know, and very concrete look and very hard. And also we're facing some existing boulder as well on the side. That how we're able to blend the engineering part of it and to the nature part of the boulders that we're facing on the side. So let me go to show you another slide. Okay, so this is the slide that we see during construction periods. You know, the engineer have put out this very solid structures, and then we talk to engineer, is that possible we're not painting any paint on top of the column of these structures because we want to get the cripples, you know, to able to hold on to these columns that let it grow. Yeah, so we can see that it's very hard at this stage. The width of the width of this road is approximately about like 7 to 8 meters, and then the height is about 5.5 because we need to get the bomb bar minimum at 5.5 because we need to get the bomb bar truck to come out here as well too. Okay, next. Okay, so when we look at the photo itself, actually we planted the Bauhinia Cocaina at the edge of left and right hand side to soften up the entire path areas. Okay, and on top of that, we also borrowed the view from the surrounding into the site. Okay, next. Next slide. Okay, so when you look at it, this is the biophilic approach that we introduced, the ficus pumila, that we started let it creep on the column itself and also the beam structure of the driveway areas. Okay, so after 2 years, next slide. So after 2 years, this is the ficus pumila that is very well grown. Yeah, it takes over some of the engineering structures, and also temperature, we're using some cable to let the plants to creep up, yeah, to also soften out the entire film. So we can see some of the plants behind, actually some of it is like just grow by itself. It's like a lot of Boston ferns and fishtail ferns, you know. On the left-hand side here, actually, the very steep slope on this side actually is like a terracing garden. We'll show you more detail later. Okay, next one. Okay, so when you look at this spiral road concept, that is the part of the elevation design we anticipate from day one. Like we show you that's the temperature plants that would like to grow, that you can see this more mature on the left-hand side of the bottom features that are related to the top on the right. Okay, and then on the bottom on the right side, you can see that the typical section cut through the driveway. On the left and right hand side, we have gathered the planter box seat on top of the drain area for the water discharge from the roots. Okay, and then on the right hand side bottom here, actually is bio retention pond areas. Next. Okay, so when you see from a typical plan view, they cut through from the lemongrass terracing areas, they come down to the spiral roads, And then retention pond, this is the area we were talking about. And then we will share with you more detail on the terrace garden later. So the change of level from the bottom to up here is about 30 meters, nearly about 100 feet. And also spiral going out is about 300 meter distant from the spiral. So if you didn't solve properly, it's quite boring, it's very hard. So we thinking use Biophilic approach to soften out the entire filling from this 300 meter journey. Okay, next. Okay, so this is during construction period when we take the photo on the spiral stack, spiral going up, and then you can see the terracing corners on the lemongrass terracing areas. So during construction period, we're actually using on the right side of the road strip going up to bring all the landscape materials. You know, we can't really using this road, so we need to find a temporary access to bring all the material up on the to the top. Next. So this is a completed one, and then I just took this picture. I think it's not mistaken after MCO lived the last year, and you can see the why of showing this picture is that I want to tell you that how the biophilic approach that we can bring back a nature to soften up the entire hardness of the sites, especially engineering structures. And then the retention pond or the center of these loop areas that we can see that also plant, it can just grow, evolve by itself. If you plant a right species, they slowly with less maintenance. All these are very require less maintenance products. Next. So when you go up to these lemongrass areas we mentioned just now that we are purposely creating a metal deck area so for people to experience like aspiring staircase going up into the lobby area. So we're adopting like a paddy field kind of concept. You know, we introduce the lemongrass. We also inject in some what called Cashapina pucharema. It's a peacock flowers to attract some insect and also the butterflies. Thanks. Okay, so this is one of my colleagues that walk up, you know, we take those days, take a picture that we want to show how the human interact with the skill of the biophilic approach, right? Either day or the night time, yeah. Okay, then also you can see some of the people equipped into the retaining wall at the back as well too. Next. Okay, retaining wall, actually when we're doing up for this project, a few type of retaining wall, like a reinforced earth retaining wall, we have a concrete wall, we have a Keystone wall, we have the alien wall, we have also rubber pitching wall. So all these engineering retaining wall, we work very closely with engineers. How we want to soften up as much as possible, you know, and some of the engineering wall we can't really touch, but we're using some screener effect to screen it out. Next. Okay, just carry on. Okay, so when it comes to another observation tower here is actually purposely created because we have a very beautiful city view at night time. So we put a swing over here. Next slide. So you can imagine at night time you sit down here, you're able to enjoy this type of view. Okay, next. Your biophilic is not only just looking at the contact itself, we see how we're able to borrow the view, either nature or the city view or the beach view. Next slide. Okay, so this is the actual view we're taken from the side. All right, when you sit at the swing area, you're able to enjoy this type of view. Next. Okay, so when you come up, the most challenging part on the side here, from the number 3 walk up to number 14, actually we have a lot of experience when people walking up. They have a number of facility here, but I just highlight to you to share with you what the challenges that we face when we are doing up on this Alila 2 projects. Okay, next slide. So actually from the bottom up to number 3 to 14 just now, we have total 275 steps. We are 3 steps more than Batu Cave step. Okay, if you want to reduce your calorie or reduce weight, actually you encourage all the residents here to walk up the step every day. Okay, and then, all right, next one. So during construction period on this side, actually the original ideas that engineer have very steep slope. So what we do is that we talk to the engineer, is that possible with terracing up, you know, on the slope areas, and also reduce the interval of the human scale, and when people experience the space going up from one level to another level will be more interesting. And we can see some existing board also retain it and blend it to work together with retaining wall. So after this is actually 4 years ago, today is also 3rd of March. Yeah? So after after the planting has been injected into this area, to show you the next slide, how it turned out. Next slide. Okay, so this is the areas that we're able to bring it in. You know, we try to make the landscape areas very down to earth color, especially the concrete flooring. So we're using a washed concrete materials. And also we try to use all very down to earth hardscape material as well. We only let the nature do the talking into the space, and we welcome all the fauna back into the areas too. So you can see some of the existing cripples, we purposely propose like epithelial, all that. So we let it cover up some of the plants here. Next. Okay, we also introduced Tillandsia and other plants to attract bees and also the insects. Next. Okay, just carry on. Yeah, just carry on the slide. Okay, next. So these are all the change of levels. So you can see that when we have provide a cocoon seating areas here, that we are able to enjoy rather than we provide a very hard structure roof that we're using a canopy of the tree to provide part of the shape into the pavilion areas. Next. Okay, next. When it's going up and up, it's still more interesting here. There are a lot of change of level and the steps. Okay, next. Okay, and a certain corner area we inject in like a campfire areas. Next slide. Let's carry on. Let's carry on. Yeah. I'll carry on. So this is how we anticipate the ideas. Okay. So when it comes to element of hardscape areas, actually we're inspired by the bird nest, all that, you know. We can see that it's part in the cocoon seating and lightings. And then this nighttime feeling that we want to achieve it. Okay, next. Yeah. So when it comes to a second level of paradise garden, okay, this slide, just stop for a while. Okay, just stop on this slide. No, just next one. Yeah, you can see the existing boulders. We are trying to retain it. And this part of the pavilions that actually make more transparent feeling is that because we want to borrow the landscape view on the surrounding forest into the site. And also we purposely provide metal deck areas that people enjoy walking on the top. You can see some creepers just grow below here. So we have like interact the humans with the nature more close together. So when you walk further, just go down and then go down into the pavilion. Next slide. Yeah, you can feel the human skill, and basically the wall of this pavilion actually is the green. Either we inject in or either with the existing forest. So we can blend two together into one. All right, next one. So imagine when you send it closer, and we purposely plant lemongrass at the back here to avoid some snake as well, and to also provide some fragrant plants. And we'll provide a cocoon sit inside here, like you imagine yourself, it looks like a fauna you hide inside the nest. When you have to enjoy the cocoon at the back of this tuna. Thanks. Okay, another view is that when you want to relax, you know, escape from, it's part of the sanctuary to escape from the city life areas. So this is part of the ideas that how we bring in the lawn toward the forest at the surrounding corners. Okay, another levels, when you reach to the lobby areas, I would like to share with you how the biophilic bring into the landscape interior areas next. So this is part of the ideas when you come into the main point. We have a one feature roundabout to separate these two, the two blocks, A and B. Next. All right, so this is water feature and nighttime feeling and the backdrop of the multi-story car park. Next slide. Okay, so when we go up, because it's nothing able to show about to differentiate the two blocks, actually we propose 2.5 meter by 2.5 tower signages. You know, it purpose use a metal plate to do it. And we purpose tweak the angle of this metal plate, show you the detail how it works. Next. Yeah, if you look at the plan view of this plan, we purposely tweaked the diagonal plate. So at night time, when the light up the lighting, we can able to see more translucent color effect rather than a solid signages. Okay, next one. Okay, another approach that for the architecture link into the landscape areas when you come to the multi-story car park, actually for people who some of the unit facing the car park area. So the client put back to say, hey, can we can we add some, you know, unique selling point into this area, although they're facing a car park. So we inject in some vertical gardens areas, like a pocket randomly into the cladding part of facade of the multi-story car park areas. Okay, next one. Okay, this is all detailed car parks, how we make sure that it's able to maintain it. Okay, the other idea is that remember that from day one of Paradise idea, we can't really bring a very strong waterfall coming down. But what we can do is that we can bring a very strong kind of vertical garden walls coming down. It's like symbolize a waterfall kind of effect. So using a convergent, convergent plants to let it creep. Actually, we make it into 2 to 3 tiers up on the planter box area from the bottom of the ground floor go up to the 8th floor areas. Okay, next. So we're also using a quartz stone materials to apply into drop-off lobby areas with the same material and the swimming pool side. We will show you later. Okay, when you walk into the lobby area, so this is kind of the view, that how we want to picturize the view on the surrounding area bring into the lobby. When you send it, go closer, next slide. Okay, when you stay at the lobby area, looking out, it's very, very close to nature, actually. We can listen to the sound of the birds singing, you know, while we're enjoying or waiting for your friends to come out for your party at your house. So this is kind of moods that we would like to inject into these Alila home areas. So next one. We just carry on. This is basically a biophilic, how we interior landscape view. We never see that boundary between this interior and exterior as a separate spaces. Next. Let's carry on. Yeah, some of the areas that water splash area we inject in like glass features. Okay, next. Next. You're still able to view outside the landscape area. So when it comes to children playground areas, we also open up, we allow the light and the natural ventilation come into this corner as well. For the kids, they have a very physical boundary without a risk of injury when you keep playing around on these corner areas. Next. Okay, just carry on. All right, so when it comes to the swimming pool side, our architect has given us entire site on this rooftop areas, but we are asked to, we design the whole space, including the architectures of the clubhouse area as well. So we purposely cut off this swimming pool at the corner of this, it's about 38 meters long, and we can borrow the view on the land surrounding area into this. And this is part of the geography power approach that we learned from. Okay, next. Okay, next, just carry on. So there's a two building carried out into these areas that you can see the rooftop actually covered with the green. Next. So this is a rooftop view. We have playground with basketball court. You know, all the facilities just consist into this 8th floor. Next. Just carry on. Yeah, these are aqueduct features at the swimming pool. And then you can imagine that aqueduct feature when complete day once that the plant haven't creep up entirely. Next. Just carry on the slide. I just talk when the slide moving. Okay, just carry on. Okay, you can see after 2 years, the creeper had creeped up to the aqueduct features. Next. Just carry on. Just carry on. Yeah, there's jacuzzi areas. We have aqua gym in the pool, and then you imagine that we just carry on. Just carry on the slide. So imagine that in aqua gym that we just look up to the top. Yeah, next. Yeah, these are all the aqueduct features that the plants are mature, that you can see the hardscape is very, very blend to the surrounding color, including the quartz stone that we're using for the pool as well too. Thanks. All right. This is all like when in the jacuzzi, you frame out nature view. Okay, just carry on. All right, so there's some of the elements on the wading pool areas as well. So how the detailing of wading pool is that the detail of the play equipment, next one. That we borrowed that's the like what they call the leaf. Next slide. Yeah, you can see this one actually is like symbolize the leaf features that form forest, you know, and bring a layer to a layer, including the children play structure as well too. Right. So when the children playing, the parents can just sit below on these slack areas to enjoy the view, the safety of the kids, you know. So they can still chit chat over here under the roof structures. Next. Okay, so basically all the architecturals, including the rooftop on top of this structure as well, we are proposing like an artificial grass deck for people that enjoy the view, that can have party, there can be outdoor amphitheater on top of these areas. Just carry on. We got a lot of slides. Okay, if you don't mind, just pick up. Next one, just carry on. All right, and the children playground rubber mat also, we make it very, very blend into the surrounding. We don't have colors. The only color is the children play equipment. Next. Okay, and then when it comes to tennis court areas that we're purposely using a wire mesh. Next slide. You just carry on, I just talk. Yeah. So we can see that wire mesh areas that we actually use as part of the materials that you can see a translucent effect. Okay, next slide. When you go into the next slide. Yeah, when you go into the play in areas against the sun orientation east and west, and we're purposely using this wire mesh areas to give some textures, and also able to build forward view on the surrounding areas. Next. Yeah, including the gym areas that you can see. Next, just carry on. Yeah, including all the interior space, that how we're able to bring the natural lighting into the side areas and the view of the surrounding. Next. Yeah, this is part of the family banquet areas. Next. Okay, this is part of the architecture space that we do it up. You know, we tell the engineer, we tell the architect, we never see the clubhouse should have a wall. The wall, it should be a forest, should be a green, you know, to park the clubhouse areas. Next. Okay, carry on. We did all the interior design as well. Why the slide stop? Hello? Sorry. I can see Joanita here. Do you able to see a slide? I didn't see.
No, I don't see. Yeah, it's blank. I think. Yeah. Saleh, Cik Saifuddin.
It disappeared, is it?
Mike.
Okay, never mind.
Can you see that slide now?
No slide. We can't see.
No, it's blank.
From here we can see the slides. Wait.
We can't see. All of us can't see. Never mind. I think I remember the slide. Let me talk a little bit about Alila. You better warrior. Just set up the technical things. Where I stop? Okay. When we design the clubhouse areas, actually, we need that no aircon in these clubhouse areas. We just use fan. Then we want to let the guests to just go into to enjoy the space, you know. And when we introduce a lot of the species of the plants that is basically is all native plants, that we're able to attract back the insect and the butterflies, and also the squirrels. We also inject in some fruit berry trees as well into these areas. So at the end, you can see some detailing. We just carry on. Drain rock paneling. Yeah, this is all detailing. I think it's just carry on. Yeah, just carry on. Yeah, we can see a biophilic. We never see that's a wall. So in the green initiative, actually, we also recompose all the dry leaf and then make this part of fertilizer that require about 55% of requirement of fertilizer that you use. And then this is a green building index goal requirement as well. It's part of the green initiative that inject into Alila too. Next. Let's carry on. Because a lot of slide. All right, and we introduced a lot of plants here. It's more than about 434 trees. Okay, next one. Yeah, these are all the plants that we planted and we stand on the side, and you can see a lot of the insect and fauna come back into these areas next. Yeah, so this view that actually I've taken from the side, we have promised the nature, you know, when you complete the Alila 2, we still feel like, hey, we achieved the visions, you know, we're able to bring back the forest into the side areas. Although we have a lot of engineering materials there, but we're using biophilic approach that we're trying to make the people that will stay together with nature. And this is basically all the photo taken from the side, except the butterflies. Okay. So we able to make the resident happy, and also we're able to make the fauna happy as well in this area. Next. Just carry on. Just carry on. Okay. So this is but all right. So another last project I'd like to share. I still have time, right? Okay. Can I share? All right, just carry on. Yeah, Summit Park at Southwest.
You have another 10 minutes.
Okay, Summit Park, Southwest City. Just carry on. Just okay. And then this Southwest City actually located around the Bangi, about 30 minutes from KL, using a north-south highway. The Southwest City is a garden city with the biophilic approach. Okay, next. Yeah, it's about 400 acres of land on these areas. Actually, a community-friendly township will allow for interaction throughout the neighborhood and park between the complete loop of landscape, bicycle lane, and jogging path. All right, next one. This is part of the streetscape design that we do it out, like I mentioned just now, the cycling path, all that. We're able to connect the entire areas, also surrounding our neighborhood area as well too. But today I would like to just emphasize on Summit Park. Yeah, next one. This project actually we have we have 4 major parks. We have Summit Park, Hill Park, Riverside Park, and Linear Park. But Summit Park, next slide. Summit Park is actually about 9.62 acres. Just carry on. 9.62 acres. So we can see that actually, developed zone is about 4.42. Yeah, okay. And the rest basically is just the slope areas. But the challenging of site issue is the poor soil condition, very, very rocky, and step terrace areas about 1.1 ratio. They are very steep and very, very hot. So we are using approach of like urban forest park approach, like reforestations into these areas. So I'll just show you what the challenges that we face next. Next slide. So this is all the design criteria. When we design park, we need to have a target age group, type activities, and then the walkway, we are about jogging path about 1.37 kilometers about this side, and then 40% hardscape, 60% are softscape areas. Next. Okay, so these are all the facilities that while I'm explaining, I will tell you the facilities because of time shortage now. So basically, they have 3 main areas will be the children playground. Okay, next slide. Yeah, this design approach actually a concept from the nature, like a flowing river complementing with the summit in the background, mentoring river crossing the mountain background. So you can see the children playground is a major part of it. We also adopt the concept of nature, modify and simplify it into what Summit Park nowadays. Okay, so you can see when you park a car here, you have the 3 entrances coming into this park. One for the car park area, one using a step, one using a ramp to go up into the children playground areas. Next. So Summit Park is a community-friendly recreational park recognized by Majelis Pembandaran Sepang. It's one of the pioneer public park and playground in Malaysia that comply international playground safety standard. So this main entrance signage here is under Majelis Pembandaran Sepang. Next one. Okay, that's a ramp going up to the park. Next, just carry on. Okay, so this is the children playground areas. Next, the biggest playground in Majelis Pembandaran Sepang under this stage, if not mistaken. So about 800 meters square areas. They have 3 major different kind of playground. This target more like bigger adults, 12 to 8, and this is about area 2. For like below 8, yeah, and then this below 5 areas. All right, next one. So this area number 1, actually we're purposely using this, that why we call it achieve the international safety standard, because rubber mat we're using 110 for these areas. Next. And this area we're using about 80 mm thickness for area 2. Next one. And the area 3 we're using about 50 mm thickness. All right. Next. Okay, just carry on. Okay, just this is part of the certified playground safety inspectors form that will come to check on the site. All these are actually determined by the floor height measurement. Just next slide. All these are determined by floor height measurement of each place to minimize the impact when when the children hit on the ground. So they come and check every single corner of the play equipment. All right, next. Okay, so this is part of the picnic areas that inspired by the river and the stone, you know, like a stone and a riverside area. So we symbolize that part of the benches in the picnic areas as well too. Thanks. Okay, so next one. Okay, you can see that it's picnic happening around the corners. That some celebrity come to, you know, YouTuber come to picnic areas. Next. Yeah, and reflect in the benches area as well too. Next one. Okay, so we go to the Pinnacle Areas, another unique point of this Summit Park areas. Next. Yeah, when you see from the plan view, actually we're using a pebble chippings to create these taller pink patterns on the floor. It's similar like a river walking around, running through a park areas. Next. Yeah, so this unique shape of the planter resembling that the summit and the subtee serve as a skate park for a mature skater. Different gradient together, different kind of skater as well too. Yeah, you can see that. And then it's another slide, I think it's not mistaken, showing how this is part of the curvy areas that how people get able to play the skateboard into these park areas. Okay, next. All right, so these are a journey going up to the stage beside the lawn area people can use for mini concert and Zumba lesson. Next one. So the Zumba teacher can just sit on the stand over here and, you know, guide people just play around because due to the pandemic, people can't really come up here. So another challenging part when it comes to end, when turning up to the ropes areas, you can see some of the slope, we can't really plant the trees here. And what we do is that the approach, next one. Next slide. Yeah, so this is the ramp going on the right-hand side here. Next one. Okay, the ramp is about 1:8 ratio here. It's not that disabled friendly, but what we do, because the challenging part of the site is that we can't really plant the trees. What we do is that we're introducing a keystone wall on this project. Next. Next slide. Okay, the keystone walls we introduce into this area, we also inject in some new soil to allow some forestry and native plants that grow. And then on the slope areas, engineering not allows us to touch their stability. We worry about stability on the slope areas. So we introduce the keystone wall. Okay, next. So you can see the keystone wall between 9 months periods. It's actually from 1 to number 9. Actually, is the process how the keystone wall grow. And keystone wall actually have this little planting space that allow for the people to creep out. Yeah, next. Yeah, so these are all the shelters that inspire from the site. We have few pavilion like this for people to stop by. Next one, just carry on. Carry on. We also have some gym equipments, about 20 type of outdoor gym facilities around on the park. You know, next. Next one, bicycle rack as well. Okay, another challenging part, we can't really touch the slope. Next. Yeah, so, but we want to connect the access going up. What we do is that we introduce a metal step into this area as well too. Okay. Just carry on. All right, we have a toilet facility. We have a next one, about 58 car parks into these areas. Okay, next. Okay, I think the most challenging part I'd like to share here is the Summit Park is taken 2018. Yeah, that we are facing a very hardy soil, and we can't really let the plant grow well if we pick up wrongly. Next one, we experiment some time to pick up the right plant to do it. Okay, and then end up what we do is that next. Okay, what we do is that rather than we plant a single planting, we plant a cluster planting. We'll purposely pick out a bigger planting bed, allow the trees to grow together, and then we have more fertile soil for them to grasp. Yeah, next. And also introduce a nitrogen-fixing tree species were selected due to their ability to grow well even in fertile soil. So this is one of the treated the rocky slope surface with younger plants as well too, to increase the production of biomass. Next one. And that's part of organic compost aids to improve the existing soil conditions. Yeah. So next one. So you can see that 2018, 2020 is about 2 years periods. We picked up from very hard rocky soil area to a very like a reforestation kind of approach, yeah, to today. And we planted fruit berry trees and flowers that can attract birds and insects. And we hope that another 5 years, trees are matured. It help to minimize the thermal comfort. This is part of the biodiversity part in the Southeast City as well too. Next one. All right, so this bird that we welcome is not only make people happy, we're able to bring the farmer as part of the springboard for them. And my conclusion is Biophilic is connecting human with nature to improve health and well-being, and also for sustainable living. That's all. Thank you. Hope you like it. Next one. Thank you.
Mike. Okay, thank you so much, Landscape Architect Phua Chin Eng, for your papers and presentations just now. Of course, we have learned a lot from your experiences, the projects that you are doing, and even you have a lot more to share with us. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, so we would be listening to Phua and many other speakers again because IFLA 2020 is coming up this August 2021. So we will be listening to a lot more examples of projects that has put up or elevated our profession to the next level. Congratulations on the paper just now, and we have a few questions for Landscape Architect Phua. The first one is actually from Niti from Zoom meeting. So she said, "Hi Mr. Phua, great project, congratulations. Can you share how you take care of all the insects issues when all the lights are on, especially for the indoor, such as the open lobby areas, etc. Thank you."
Insect at the lobby areas.
Yeah, especially when the lights are on. So how do you tackle these issues, the insect issues?
You mean insect going into the lighting itself, or
Yeah,
is it buying
That,
the lobby and
that's
buying
probably, yes. Mm-hmm.
them? Some of the insect they will rest at night, except mosquito. You know, they come out to find their own food. So that's I think so far we never have the complaint from the building management side on this issue. I think every one of us facing is only the mosquito when it comes to the problems at night. And then insects going up to the, going into the, what I call the light fittings. I think we need to find a proper light fittings specifications that you can insect proof. You know, nowadays you can find that in the markets. I don't think that's a problem. That they have an insect proof light fitting as well too. Yeah, except of course that some of the insects will go on top of the depend on light fitting design as well. Probably some of the insects just go up there where we still require some maintenance. Okay.
And insects dancing under the lights is part of the rhythm, yeah? Let's
Yeah,
take it
true.
that
Yeah.
Okay, we have one more question here before we end this session. So this is from Landscape Architect Adi Zakwan. So he said, Biophilic is one of natural-based solution. Can you share with us the advantages of these solutions in terms of landscape management and maintenance? So biophilics in the form of landscape management and landscape maintenance.
Because when we're using a biophilic approach, I think we are more using basically like a more sustainable a kind of approach that we're taking care how we want to make it able to blend back to the nature surrounding, and also able to reduce the maintenance as well, because we're trying to use back mostly native plants and using some low maintenance material as well to this part of the biophilic requirements. You know, I don't think when you're using a biophilic, they will require more maintenance. It's just like how the interactions between the people and nature You know, how we're able to use back these all materials to make the people stay more happily and more have a sustainable living. That is purpose of creating a good design space for people to enjoy. I think that's part of Biophilic's approach that we can. You ask me, we are able to sustain by itself. Some of the plants, like what you mentioned just now, like Alilatu, we are very require very low maintenance. So sometimes plant is just that evolve by itself, you know. That you, especially you can want to see one of the very good example, Master Geoffrey Bawa works. You have a chance to visit Sri Lanka, you can see most of his work are talking about biophilic from long time ago. Yeah. And like nitrogen fixing plant is one of the approach as well to adopt into this some areas that we're facing very unfertile soil areas to generate a new fertilizer into another plants. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much. And of course, there are many more factors that we should also consider, like what Landscape Architect Pua has shown in his projects. And with that, we thank you so much, Landscape Architect Pua, for sharing your experiences with us. All the best, stay safe, and take care, right?
Thank you.
So